What do you think life is trying to teach you right now?
Don't give up.
Don't ever give up.
You know, there's still time, lots of time. Um, so just keep going. I think that's what it's trying to tell me.
Head down through the thorns, man.
Sorry, I ain't answer, I've been busy. Lot of things been bothering me lately. Wish I can go back in time and erase it. Fighting demons, fighting cases. Living through the walls of trials and tribulation.
Go deep. What's up, everybody? Jayden here with me today. He's returned from his grandfather's to continue his training.
Yeah, we on a training arc. You know what it is.
He's glad to have him back in studio with me, but decided to sit down and record a little pod because I sort of fumbled my last pod with my buddy Mason. Recorded the whole thing and no sound. So,
Yikes.
yeah. We're making a lot of progress too. And we had a slip up.
It happens. Unfortunately, with these things.
So, Jayden, how's everything been? How's the transition back to Columbus?
Uh, well, it's been interesting to say the least. I wasn't expecting to come back. But here I am. Here I am with Dino and this dude again, you know.
So, do you feel like you're becoming who you actually are or who life's forcing you to be?
I'm kind of just on my own path, you know. At this point with everything that I'm going through, what's happened, like I've just got to make I just got to make it work.
Well, let me ask you this, Jayden. What version of yourself are you trying to leave behind?
All of it.
All of it?
All of it.
Dive into that a little bit.
My childhood, I never want to relive that again. My early teens, never want to relive those again. I'd rather I just want to move forward. At this point, I don't want to think about those past, all the mistakes I've made, all the trauma that I've endured. I want to leave it all behind. I mean, yes, it has shaped me into who I am today, but I don't want to ever relive it.
I feel that, brother. The pain is what shapes us, as I always say. And I just want to let you know that I'm really proud of you for how far you've come. And, since we met, you're down, what, almost 30 pounds or so?
Yeah.
So, we still got some more work to do, but I'm happy with how far we've gotten.
Me too, man. It's been a journey.
Um, so what do you do when you feel like you're starting to get off track as a young man?
Well, I've been off track most of my life. So really I just flow with the punches, man. It's I know that's not like the best way to live, but that's just kind of how I'm so used to not being stable. The structure has not been anything remotely in my life. Um Really ever. Other like you're probably the most structured thing I've ever had in my entire life.
Well, buddy, I'm glad I can be here for you. I mean, and what we do isn't even very structured. I mean, it is. You're playing basketball, going to roosters
That's
and lifting weights, but I mean, it is what it is. So do you think all this pain has made you wiser that you've had to endure?
Oh, for sure. I can't tell you the amount of people that have told me that I'm like super mature for my age. People see me as an adult all the time. Like it's even though I know I'm still a kid, I feel like an adult sometimes. Like that's just how everyone treats me. That's how I I grew up really fast.
What kind of support would you say young men like you need that they never really ask for?
Um, Therapy. That's pretty great.
Yeah? Has
Um,
therapy been going good?
yeah, I've been in therapy since November. Um, and I love my therapist. He's helped me out a lot. And since I left my grandpa's about a month and a half ago, I thought wasn't going to do it anymore because it's in Chillicothe. I haven't been in person since then, so I thought it wasn't gonna like carry over, but like he's still been here for me, even though I haven't been going in person. He still calls me at 2 o'clock every Wednesday. I get my hour in, you know, and he listens, and he gives me advice. He tells me, things that I wish other people would tell me, you know.
I hope I'm telling you some of the things that he's telling you.
Oh, you do.
I
You
hope
do.
there's I
Like,
hope they're somewhat in line. You
you
know,
and him are pretty much like on the same wavelength with what like you guys want for me. Um, but the rest of my family, I can't say the same.
well, give them their grace. They're navigating a lot too. Hopefully, we can get them on board here as you come into adulthood.
That's all I want. I just want them to. I know they mean well, and I know that they want good things for me. I just want their actions to show it at this point. It's a matter of they just use words and not actions, and I'm more of actions.
Yeah, I mean, and you've been taking a lot of action, and I'm really proud of you. Everything you've been doing, especially with the bowling. I think
Hmm.
we should highlight that you threw 9 strikes about 2 weeks ago in a row.
Yeah.
I'd never seen anything like that in person, so I was quite impressed. And I told you if you throw 10 strikes in a row, I'll take you on a little shopping spree at the outlets.
We're working, dude. It's all a grind,
We'll see if he gets those 10 strikes. I'm going to be, my wallet's going to be in for it if he does.
Year and a
But
half, I'll be 18. That tour card will be the first thing I purchase. Um, Regionals, here I come in about a year and a half. So if there's any, professional bowlers that are somehow watching this, just know I'm coming, man. That's all. I'm working.
I'm thinking of a nickname right now.
A lot of tour pros do have nicknames. We gotta figure out one for me.
Jayden JDawg Myers.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like something I've been called a lot, so that works.
Or maybe we just call you Big Dog.
Big Dog. There is this guy on tour, his name's Wes Malott, and they called him Big Nasty for the longest time.
West Big Nasty Malott.
Hmm.
I like that. I like that. Um,
He's bigger like me. He's pretty tall. Um, and he's one-handed. He's an older guy, so he dealt with like the 90s. That's when he was real big on tour. He's he's someone I've looked up to. Same with like Bill O'Neill. Um, I've always looked up to him. EJ Tackett is on the probably the best bowler in the world right now. I look up to him a lot. You know, I want to bowl, man.
you impressed me with your bowling. I told you if it weren't for my bum left arm, I'd probably be a little bit better. But I've been trying. I'll go again. You can get me trying to break 100. I'm trash bowler. I'm a trash bowler. I think it's fun. Um,
I've only been bowling for 3 years, and I've gotten better each year. And then hopefully we just continue to get better. That's the goal.
yeah, I think you will, man. Practice makes perfect, and that's why I want everything to equate for you from top down, from the basketball into the lifting, and it all to sort of equal into your dreams of getting on the PBA. I think that's a good dream, truthfully. So let me ask you this. What's something you're still healing from that people can't see?
Um, my mom, that's probably the biggest. I've brushed it off. I've told people, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't, I don't, I don't care. I don't worry about it. But I'm so connected to her on just more of a mother and son level. It's me and I feel bonded to her, you know. And I know most people do, you know, that
I
they
mean,
only
mama's
get
boys, yeah.
one mother. You know, I didn't have a dad growing up. She was all I had, you know. I know I had my aunt, my grandma, my grandpa. You know, I had a bunch of people that babysat me, and, you know, I had a lot of support growing up. But her, man, the drugs, that addiction took my mother from me. And
A lot of listeners of this podcast have had addiction take people from them. You know, and
and I
we
just,
all, I mean,
I'll never, ever do drugs. I don't want to touch alcohol. You know, those things like truly scare me because I've seen what it does to people. And I mean, it ruins lives. I don't know what future there is for my mother. She's, you know, locked up right now. So I don't know what's going to happen when she gets out in September on my birthday.
that's heavy stuff, man. And I'm sure, sure there's someone out there who can resonate with what you're dealing with, man, because that's stuff that you definitely shouldn't be handling alone, which is why I have tried to be here for you as much as I can be. And you've made a lot of progress, man, and there's people who care about you, you know.
Yeah, and I appreciate every one of you guys that, like, you know, have said nice things about me, you know, even if some of you guys haven't met me. I know Dean's told you guys things about me. Just know I appreciate all of them.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of people rooting for you, buddy, and they're excited to see you, you know, keep falling, and you know, you're making me proud, you know, and everything that you've been doing. So just keep it up, man. It's not easy, you know. It's not easy all the time to keep going, but you got a big future ahead of you, and I know that being your age, given your circumstances of how everything is lined up, it might not feel like there's a way out, but there is. There's plenty of ways out, and you've only just begun, and you've got a better head on your shoulders than I had on mine at your age, because your reality has been self-destructed by the substance use and the things around you, whereas I leaned into, you know, alcohol, and drinking really was my biggest, you know, problem that I ever really had to deal with. And just because I did it to excess, and I started at a pretty rather young age as a freshman or sophomore in high school, pretty avidly. So, and it was celebrated. I was you know, that's not something, like, looking back, I showed you some of those pictures of me with the beer belly, and, you know, I used to be 236 pounds, you know, I lost 95 pounds in 1 year.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I dropped from 236 to 146, and no Ozempic then. Just 6-inch subs, and 6-inch subs from Subway, oven roasted chicken breast, 1 meal a day, working out, running, telling myself I was a failure if I didn't get skinny, if I didn't, you know, truthfully, it's being hard on yourself, man, especially when you grow up not feeling the best about yourself, and maybe the environment and grow up isn't the most stable. It can be easy to get lost in things, you know, truthfully. And mine was, a lot of my weight gain and reason I was overweight was due to the excessive alcohol use. You know, like, that's empty calories, as I would say, Mr. Lick the Ranch Cup.
Listen.
Empty calories.
I can't help that ranch is good, okay? Like,
yeah, Roosters Mondays. So, but you've been doing really good, you know. You're 30 pounds down, and since August.
hmm
So August, September.
And, I was gone for, what has it been, 4 months, 5 months?
We're gone for like 3 months or something. It was weird.
Yeah, it wasn't very long, but like it was since September.
4 months maybe.
Yeah, I think it was about 4 months. And I was cooped up in a house. Pretty much, I was out of the house 2 times a week. Bowling on Saturday mornings and therapy on Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, I was locked in a house doing pretty much nothing but playing video games. Um, and I dropped out of school during that time.
I didn't think that was the best idea, but I think the best idea now is we, focus on getting you working and then getting you on tour.
Yeah, that's the goal.
practicing
PPA tour.
practicing bowling as much as we can while also lifting weights, shooting some hoops for cardio, and then really hone in on,
I didn't want to drop out of school, mainly because my mom dropped out. My dad didn't get, my dad was locked up when he was 17. He never graduated. He didn't care about school. And I wanted to break the cycle. I wanted to be different. I wanted to be better than my parents. So it hurt to have to even like think about that option.
Jayden, I want you to know we can still get you a college degree if we try hard enough.
Oh, I know.
Just because you're set back a little bit because of your circumstances and everything that's happened. I mean, I understand not wanting to be a freshman at 17, but that doesn't mean there's not other routes.
I agree. But I'm just saying, I didn't want this. Like most people think that I've told, think I just did it just because I didn't want to do work or like I'm lazy or whatever it is. I actually have a great work ethic. And when I set my mind to something, I actually do really well at it. It just doesn't help when you're 2 years behind. And it wasn't your fault. Truancy was the big reason why I failed. Again, stability was never a big thing in my life. Always moving schools. I lived a lot of different places in Ohio. So I've met many, many, many people. I've experienced rich kids. I've experienced, kids that just want to fight me. I've experienced a lot of different groups of people. And my school life just was never easy. I wish it was. That was like, it was supposed to be my escape from my home. And it just felt like another place where I had to fight all the time. Teachers were constantly asking me, is there something going on at home or...
Yeah. I had a lot of support at school also, but I had a lot of teachers that I didn't like and didn't quite want to be there either. And school was mainly a net positive for me, I would say, but I love seeing my friends and making people laugh and writing and reading and gym. I really liked all three of those things a bunch. And I think that's history too. I think that's really all I liked.
That's pretty much the same for me. Gym was always my favorite. I made sure if I could get that as an elective, I would.
I liked home ec too. I liked home ec as well.
Yeah,
It was me, Noah, and Brandon Heath. We were a home ec group and two good buddies. But what a home ec group that was.
My seventh grade year, my favorite class was science because that was the class I had the most friends in. And yeah, I goofed around a lot in that class, but I mean, I was hardly there. I was always suspended for fighting anyway, so I don't know. It made school like just not enjoyable. Um, and I didn't start any of these fights too. That was another thing that really like raked my soul, was that I never started any of them. But school doesn't blame just one; they take down both. So yeah,
They got you.
you're involved in a fight. You get suspended no matter what. So
What do you think life is trying to teach you right now?
don't give up.
Don't ever give up.
There's still time, lots of time. Um, so just keep going. I think that's what it's trying to tell me.
Head down. Through the thorns, man. Just keep going, I mean, you're not wrong, man. I've been through many battles in my life.
It's just the only thing that I can like say for certain that like I've been good at is not giving up, because
Well,
I'm still here.
if you don't give up, you can't ever lose.
There's been a lot of days where I've bowled bad and I've wanted to quit, or like, I get really down on myself. And then there's days that I bowl over expectations.
9 strikes in a row.
And they give me the highest of highs.
And we're going to lock in on consistency.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing. My mental game is definitely not my strong suit, and that's a big part in bowling, is your mental.
Exactly. We're going to quit carrying a spare ball.
We're
going to quit carrying a spare ball.
Quit carrying a spare ball.
Because we're not going to need it.
We're not gonna...
12 strikes, baby.
Yeah, that's not logical.
I'm just kidding, bro. That's that, what did I tell you? The disproportionate belief that you will succeed no matter what.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but if you have like the utmost belief in yourself, you can do anything.
And that's what I'm trying to teach you. And I have another question. Do you think society currently, I just put you through this little school of some YouTube videos and stuff. I thought that maybe you could see that's important. Do you think that society as a whole has a good structure of like manhood, or are we kind of lost?
Oh, our world is like cooked right now. Like it's cooked. I don't know what's gonna happen. I just know that I don't want to be drafted to the military. So please do not draft me. In a year and a half when I turn 18, let's not. Okay, I have bigger dreams.
You
than
already
that.
you already forced the shot on him. Maybe not force the draft on him too.
Yeah, let's not. All right, I would greatly appreciate that. There's.
But you have been practicing. See, this is exactly what I was saying about Warzone. Remember when
I've played a lot of Fortnite at Warzone. That does not mean I'm good in real life with a gun.
Well,
I
that's
promise.
what I was telling everyone in 2020 when COVID shut it down. They're trying to fuel the military-industrial complex to get the kids engaged and bring back the draft here in a few years. And 6 years later, here we are.
Yeah. We're cooked.
I think we might be too. But either way, yeah, I think I'm trying to teach you the best I know. The best I had John there as an example, as a male role model, and I had my brother Johnny. And, aside from that, I had, I can look to my friends as some male role models and stuff, but I try to teach you everything I've learned from, those influences and all the, podcasts that I've listened to and stuff on how to be a good man and who has a good heart and does good things, man. And I hope that I've done a good job of that.
I think you have. I don't think you have nothing to be like upset about over when it comes to at least me.
Yeah, I'm doing my best.
Yeah.
I'm sort of out of practice. I just,
Hey man,
I sort of wing it.
It doesn't help you don't have kids.
Well,
So
I mean, one day maybe. We'll see.
I can only hope, right? Little Dino running around here, that'd be great.
Yeah. So you got to find a girl first.
Yeah, that's the problem.
There's an order of operations.
That's the
And I
problem.
always struggled with math, dog.
Yeah, I'm not very good at math either. That is definitely probably my weakest link.
PEMDAS. Sad map. So what do you value most in a friendship?
Loyalty.
Loyalty is important.
I think, like, even so, a great example is like me and Mikey. Like, yes, I do see him every week, but like that doesn't mean we talk all week.
Oh,
know?
yeah, of course.
And, you know, of course, me and him have gotten into altercations before,
As good friends do.
but we always come to a conclusion and we're always still friends.
That's what's most important.
That's why-
that'll be some of your best friends in your life, brother.
Yeah, Mikey, shout out Aiden. That's another.
I know your crew.
You know,
You got a good little crew.
those are my best friends.
crew of bowlers, and that little Mikey, I'll tell you what, he's an 11-year-old. I watched him bowl 8 strikes in a row that day.
Yeah, he bowled good too. He beat me, so he's got a bright future too. And you know, he's in a similar situation to where, you know, I'm trying to role model him as you are like me, because you know,
it's a top down situation, huh?
yeah, it's like a ladder. You know,
Yeah.
I'm trying to carry it down a little bit. You know, it
That's
makes me
good.
a better person.
That's good, Jayden, because the main thing I want you to do is be a good person. Because it's so easy to fall out of line, just like I did,
Mhm.
because maybe the things aren't the best that they could have been when you were growing up, you know. And I know I'm really happy that you stepped into my life when you did, because I told you I was lost and needing a little of direction on how maybe I could make an impact on the world and someone else. So, you know, that's all been really good, man. I'm really I think you have a brighter future than some days you think you have ahead of you. So, I think you don't give yourself enough credit.
Yeah, I tend to do that. Unfortunately, it's my therapist tells me all the time I need to think better about myself. I need to talk gooder thoughts to myself. I need to, you know, like just treat myself better. It's hard. It's not as easy as saying it. Especially when like things aren't the greatest, you know, when it comes to currently like my home situation. You know, like I don't technically yes, I'm back with my grandma, but I don't all my stuff is still my grandpa's. Like I'm not homeless, but I don't have a designated home right now. You know. And that's what sucks, because like that's literally the story of my life.
You're a drifter.
Yep.
That's okay sometimes. I've always wanted to be a drifter. That's okay. Listen, I understand what you're saying, but that's why that's why I know your kicks are there. That's why I got you some shoes. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I understand wanting your wardrobe and like your room, but you were stuck there a little bit.
Yeah.
I never got to see you. You weren't being, you felt like you'd call me and it felt like you were stranded. Felt like we're on an island there. Here, I feel like you have Randall. You have, Paige, your grandma. I just feel like you have more opportunity here. Jobs.
It wouldn't have been such a problem if like say they would like have got me, you know, my license, or you know, we started in that route. But they wanted bigger. They wanted me to do things a little bit differently. And it's just not how I roll, I guess. I love my grandpa to death. I love his wife to death. But we just didn't get along. I just wish things were different, you know. I wish they didn't say some of the things they did. I wish, you know, that we could have communicated better. I don't know why everything had to be an argument. Especially when they knew like that's how I grew up. That's I was always fighting. I always had to be the loudest in the room to win.
It's not a fun way to grow up, is it?
No, it's not. And I'm sorry to anybody that had to grow up like that, or is currently dealing with that. Please seek help before you like end up where I was a few years ago, you know, wanting to not be here anymore. Thankfully, I'm in a better place, and those thoughts are not as common as they used to be.
Oh,
So
praise God for that, brother. What do you think people misunderstand about you the most?
people tell me all the time that like once they get to know me, that like I'm a completely different person than I look on the outside. First look at me, you probably people have said intimidation, due to my size, how tall I am, my weight, people assume I'm going to be angry, stuff like that. I'm not a soft, gentle person. But then once they get to know me, they know that
Or the opposite.
it's the opposite completely. I'm a teddy bear. I love getting to know people. Just it's hard for me in public. I do have a lot of social anxiety. So I will not approach you first, I'll tell you that. But if you come and approach me, I will definitely have a conversation with you. As long as I know that you're not a threat, you know. I'll have a barrier. Once you get past that barrier, we're good,
How many times have you beaten me in basketball?
Probably like 3 times, twice, something like that. I don't know.
You've won some battles.
I just
But-
never have won a war, and that's just due to you having more stamina than I do.
No excuses, man. You almost won one
no,
today.
we're gonna bring up excuses.
He almost beat me today.
Yeah, whatever, groin injury, whatever the hell you have, I don't care.
Listen, that was the mountain biking.
Yeah, you know what?
Listen,
I was shooting threes like crazy today. I don't know what it was, but I was feeling myself, and they just weren't going in.
they were going in.
Some of them, but
You
they
beat me
all
the-
should have
You beat
won
me the
in.
one game.
They all should have won in. I'm not gonna lie. I was shooting like Curry today.
Do you think I'm better or worse at basketball than when you first met me?
I think you're better. Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. I needed to hear that. I've been putting in a lot of work.
I mean, all you do is sit at a court and you like just shoot like a robot. So I would expect you to be better.
That left hand's going crazy lately. What's that sound?
My phone.
All right. Didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
What scares you more? Failing publicly or never trying?
Never trying. If I do go on tour and if I do good and I make a televised show, I'll be proud of myself because I made it there. Some people have never made it there. And
I
they've been
think
on
you could,
tour.
Jayden. I think you could if you keep at this bowling thing.
I
really
do too. I completely think that, and my ego tells me that all the time. But I would be more mad at myself if I just went and worked for the rest of my life and never tried.
Yeah, of course. You got to try. You're good enough to try.
Yeah.
Especially when you just started bowling 3 years ago. It's sort of your thing. It's sort of been your thing since I met you.
Yeah, runs in my blood. My whole family is full of bowlers.
So how did you just start bowling 3 years ago?
My mom, she never had time. It never was really like brought up, I guess. It just was like I asked my grandpa, because I wanted to do some kind of sport. I was tired of, just sitting in the house all the time, playing video games,
What did I tell you about sitting in the house?
being depressed all the time. He bowled. He He said Paige did it when she was in high school. My mom did it when she was in high school, you know, and I was about that age. It was like, why not give it a shot? So I did. And I've put in a lot of hours of studying, practicing, you know, just trying to do the best I can
Well,
at it.
you're quite impressive rolling the ball down the lane. So
Yeah, it's taken a lot of work. I've come a long way, especially with my form. When I first started, I was terrible. I mean, it looked like I had no skill at all. I didn't know what I was doing. I started out with a backup ball like you. Um, like it was a natural, like just I backed the ball up, like it threw it straight down the lane, and it had a little bit of a back end curve. Um, and then I started learning how to hook the ball the correct way, getting around it at the bottom. Then I started learning about the dots and the arrows and, the pins and, you know, oil patterns. I started studying and like trying to figure out like how to get better, one for my like mentally. My coaches at Holiday, the center that I bowl at, I they ask me all the time, like how do I know so much about, bowlers and like um balls. I research a lot of the balls, what they do. I've learned a lot about layouts. Pretty much the only thing I don't know about bowling is actually drilling a ball. Um, and that comes when you go on tour. They teach you how to drill balls. Um, you get a ball rep, and they help you out a lot. Um, there's just a lot of different things. It's more than just throwing a ball down a lane. Um, it's more than just it's not a sport because it is. Um, and I actually think it should be an Olympic sport. Um, there is I just seen a video yesterday of Julio Jones bowling because there is a tournament coming to wherever he is for $10,000.
that's awesome.
Then he wants to win it. So he's bowling.
And he wants to win it.
Yeah.
That's that's freaking insane.
I think so too.
So I'm glad you have a plan, Jayden.
Yeah. I've gone through most of my life without one. So it kind of feels good to have one. Um, there was a lot of times I didn't know about my future. Um, and I'm not one to really like look at the future. It kind of scares me a little bit.
I feel that.
Especially with everything going on in the world now that I know, like it definitely scares me, especially for
Sorry for showing you all that stuff.
when I have kids or like, just like things like that like it's terrible. It's not okay. And
The world's in a bad spot right now.
and I hope people with power like see these things and do something about it.
Well, we're gonna have to be the ones, man.
Yeah, I mean
It's gonna be your generation. Maybe since you're young getting on here now, maybe you can inspire change in people your age. That's my hope is that the youth starts to see it quick and they care. Maybe I don't know. It seems like they don't. It seems like your generation just doesn't really care about much. Seems like I could be wrong. Maybe they do. It just feels like it's such a digital world that it feels hard to get you guys' minds off what's going on the internet or live streams are all the rave and like when really it's like there's some way more stuff we should probably all be paying attention to so we can all end up having a better life in the long run.
Yeah, that's what I hope for. I want peace and world happiness. I want our economy to be okay. I want gas prices to go down. I want my grandma to have to stop worrying about how much groceries are. Um, it's not fair. It's especially for the people that have nothing to do with what's going on in the outside world.
Yeah, I brought up the idea of the draft coming back to Jayden, and you should have seen his face.
Yeah, I was not a happy camper. I'll tell you that. I was real into Call of Duty and Fortnite and Valorant and all those shooter games. I'm not very good with a real gun. I just want you to know that.
I have a question for you. What do you think 27-year-old will look back and say to 17-year-old you right now in 10 years?
Hopefully I'm on tour, and hopefully I've made it.
Hopefully this podcast is much bigger and I'm interviewing a pro bowler.
Yeah, that's what I'm hope. I hope Dean is, traveling around the world doing his podcast, and I hope I'm a professional bowler. And I hope maybe I have a kid. That'd be great. I've always wanted a little me. I want to treat, my child better than how I grew up. I want them to experience life, with two loving parents and a good home, and not, and have some stability. I just hope that this world gets fixed.
I'm worried about the world too, my brother. I couldn't be more worried, and I told you I put you on to some people to start listening to. Jordan B. Peterson, Sean Ryan, just for some informational, pay attention to what's going on with that whole Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens thing. There's a lot of questions to be asked there. I know I'm just diving in on that.
Yeah. From all the things I saw, I watched a lot of Charlie Kirk versus 20 people. I watched a lot of those videos, and I just thought he was so intelligent.
Everyone did. Yeah.
And then when he died, I was like, wow. I literally just watched a video about him a few days before he died, and I was blown away. That someone so intelligent just gets assassinated on a campus.
People were listening to him, Jayden, and that's what I'm saying. Well, I think we all need to be asking questions about.
100%.
Especially
why
people
is
your
his
age.
death being covered up?
Especially people your age, because you guys will have the voice for the longest over time about raising questions like this, and the youth usually can rally.
Yeah.
So that's why it's you tell little Mikey.
Little Mike knows what's up, dude. He's he's into it, he's playing basketball, I know he's got good things for him. I hope he gets a growth spurt and he goes to the NBA at
Me
this
too.
point. I got, maybe he can be a professional bowler on the side, that'd be
He might be able to do it right with you, man. The way he slings that thing. You're both really really talented.
I hope all my friends come with me to the tour. That's I love all my friends, I appreciate all of them.
The bowling bus and the podcast bus might be the same bus, brother.
Dude, let's hope, dude. We're all traveling together. We're all going,
That might be the same bus.
Dean's coming to every bowling event that I go to, all right? We're riding in his RV.
The bowling tour might be the podcast tour also.
Yep.
And the comedy tour.
Yep, that's what we're doing. Yep, we're doing it all.
You heard my new bit.
I did.
See?
You can't, no, we got to get rid of that bit.
I'm keeping that bit.
You can't say that.
I can say that, dude.
Then do it right now. Say it right now.
No, I'm saving it for the stage, bro.
Okay.
That'll get people. That'll get people. Cool call.
I know, right? My bad.
That'll get people interested.
I agree.
I mean, you thought it was funny, but Jayden, I appreciate you coming on here with me, brother. Anytime, you're welcome. Sick that we got to chop it up again. I'm glad that I have you back in town, and glad your training started back up.
Yeah, we back. Jayden 2026, you know what it is. Professional Bowlers Associate. Hey, if there's any sponsors out there, Hammer, Brunswick, Ebonite, if any of y'all are trying to sponsor me, let me know. I definitely would like some discounted bowling balls. Bowling is not cheap.
Bowling is not cheap.
So, hey, I can show you my games. I can show you my averages. You know, I'm going to pretty much every youth tournament in Columbus, Ohio right now. Even outside of Columbus, Ohio, there's like, you know,
Put them
tournaments.
on a watch list.
Just, you know, watch out for me. You know, Jayden Myers on Facebook. You guys can look me up. You know, just like I got most of my accolades
Jayden Big
on
Dog
there.
Myers.
Yeah, you know what it is. All right, so.
All right, everybody. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We love y'all. We'll, you know, see you Wednesday.